Hey everyone, welcome back to Housingnet. In this video, we're going to show you how to become a host of properties and how to list your accommodation on Housingnet. Let's go. So from the front page of our website, if we would like to provide an accommodation, we can't actually do it from here. We need to scroll down. You'll notice that we're not actually logged in. You'll see why in a second. So we'll just scroll down to the bottom of the page and you just click provide accommodation. Once we're here, we're given the option to log in. This is because we cannot list an accommodation unless we are a registered member of Housingnet. So let's go ahead and do that now. Once we've logged in and clicked on provide an accommodation, we'll be given the screen where we can list all the information about our property, which we can save, and then we can send it over to the housing admin. They can approve our post. So looking at create a property, we can provide any sort of photos about our property. So let's go ahead and do this. So here you can see I've just added a completely random photo of a house just for the video purposes, but you'll be able to add your floor plan, any relevant photos of the rooms, etc. You just need to click on this box that you agree that your photos and stuff managed terms. Now scrolling down here, we have our property information. This is where we can select whether our properties are short or medium term accommodations. So let's say our property is SIL. You can also click whether your property is appropriate for SDA, which is Specialist Disability Accommodation, which click yes. And we'll highlight, so essentially the title would say home in, let's say Sydney. Slogan, comfortable home in the heart of Sydney. And we can click the address. Now let's just add a random address for any video purposes. So let's click, sure, Queensland. Even though I said Sydney, let's do Queensland. Total area, we can do, let's say, complete random number. And then we can click the bedrooms. So let's say there are 3 bedrooms vacancies. Let's say 3. Number of bathrooms, let's say there's 2. Number of car parks, let's also say 2. But if you describe the property, you can put anything here, anything more suitable for family. Nice area to live in. And you can click the status of your property, whether it's active or pending. Let's choose pending. And here we have the property features. So essentially the general features and whether your accommodation has a type of features with the disability accessibility. So something like this is where there's wheelchair accessible, let's click that. And these accessible features, for example. And whether it's soundproofing and strong walls. And we can click here, you can click general features that your housing has. Let's click on a couple random ones. Heating, cooling, dishwashing, boots and laundries, ensuite, etc. And outdoor features, additional features, whether you want pets allowed or to be furnished. Again, this is essentially like you're listing a house on like another housing website or something like that. Energy efficiency rate, medium or high. Let's click medium. So here we have the local area section. Now this is essentially just to give your tenant more of an idea of the surrounding parts of your accommodation. So nearest train station, let's go Cranbourne. Nearest tram stop, just type in a couple words. Nearest bus stop. Now again, these are all for video purposes, so obviously it's not going to match along with the house that we're doing, but to give you an example of when you list your own house, you have an idea. So nearest bus stop, Collins Street, nearest ferry, and let's just fill in the rest of this information. You're also given the option to put in your nearest hospital, your nearest GP, and your nearest school. This is very important because this is what people look for when they're looking for a house, especially in this sort of industry. So, and once we fill in information, we can scroll down and we can have a look at this section, which is the property support. Now this is a very important key consideration in order to understand what support your participant will have when they stay at your accommodation. So can participants bring their own plan of support? Click yes. And the type of support provided is property. So obviously what the service provider will be providing, 24 hours a day. On-site shared support, which just means obviously they're able to bring their own. So yes. And then you can fill in this information here. So what is your nominated support provider? Main contact, email address, mobile number. So let's go ahead and fill that now. And once that's filled out, we can see here at the very bottom, we have to describe how the on-site shared support is going to be reviewed, so we just fill that in with whatever information is applicable to your service. So let's say it will be reviewed. And once we've done so, we can just press save, which will save all the information that you've listed. Once you've saved it, you'll be given this confirmation screen saying thank you for registering. It'll take some time to verify our content. This means that your accommodation is now being reviewed by our team of experts to understand and review whether it is appropriate to be on Housingnet. Once on the dashboard, we can see that we can view our uploaded properties. So let's click that now. And once you're here, you can see the property that you've just uploaded along with the following information. So whether it's inactive or active, verifying, and this is very important. So 91 days left. This essentially means that your property will be active for 91 days. And once you do so, for example, you click it, your property does have an expiration date, which you will need to renew once the expiration date is finished. Also, when you've clicked on your property, you can see images and all the information that we have just put in. And once you're here, you can see the property images. I've just put a few more images, not even houses, but just for testing purposes. And you can also see all the information that we have just put in. If you would like to preview what your property will look like before publishing, you can just scroll all the way down and just click preview right here. Once we've done so, we can preview what the house listing will be once it's been approved. So you can see photos. If you scroll down, we can also see the information, home in Sydney, with the following information: beds, vacancy, bath, also the description and the feature types, and basically essentially all the information that we have just included when we've listed our property. Once your housing has been approved, a potential tenant can then submit an inquiry to your house. You can also notice down at the bottom, your accommodation will be listed on the map, including the surrounding suburbs, as to where you've put your accommodation location. Once your accommodation has been approved, it will be in the Find a Stay section, which will then allow other tenants to find your property, as any other properties from other providers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and that's how you become a host of properties and how to list your accommodation as a service provider. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.